My best neighbor, טוב אח טוב, שכן קרוב מאח רחוק, זה נאמר עליך. הרב בנימין והרב ישראל יצחקוב, that Almighty God will bless you בעזרת השם to have a long and healthy and happy life. מוריי ורבותיי, I want to say thank you very much for all of you for coming here out of respect to my father, Rahmat Kunam, and also to my partners, the Kafi family, the Tziono family. They are not our partners, Mrs. Bella. We are a family, and we're always going to be a family. Until 120, Be'ezrat Hashem, the Almighty God will bless you and your children, Be'ezrat Hashem, and your grandchildren, Be'ezrat Hashem, to see a long and healthy and happy life. I know that when I'm doing something with you, it's always blessing around. I had no doubt that tonight is going to be a successful night. Why? The Kafi family is also in that names. They didn't spell my name right, but your name always came right. For some reason, with Kafi they never make mistakes. With Vaknin they can make mistakes, but with you, it's always perfect. No, Baruch Hashem, thank God. In the Tziono family, Mula Aaron, that the Almighty God and the brothers, the Almighty God will bless you, Be'ezrat Hashem. Our Divrei Torah is going to be לעילוי נשמת האיש הקשר והישר שנפטר בשם טוב לעולם, מור אבי מולה מיכאל בן אליהו ואסתר, האישה היקרה, מיסיס פניר בת חפצי, מרים בת דבורה, והאיש שנפטר בשם טוב מן העולם, אליהו חיים בן רבקה. רוח השם תלכם בגן עדן, תהיה נשמתם צרורה בצרור החיים. רבותיי, I will start with personal. The topic of today is love and marriage. I will leave Rabbi Friedman to do his job, and God bless him, he's doing amazing jobs. You came here tonight to hear lectures that most likely you never heard before. Your life, I have no doubt, will be changed. My job tonight is not to give regular lectures, to speak something personal, as personal that you can get. Tonight is the Askara, or how do you call it, the Yeshuvah of Rahmat Kunam, my father. And being the son of my father, I will tell you a few things. I want to קחו עמכם דברים ושובו אל השם. I want you to take a few items with yourself. At least you came here, you're going to meet a person, not in a physical ways, but in a spiritual ways, who was my father. So just in the beginning I will tell you, the first rule of today is, you don't have to lose something in order to appreciate it. You know, when you're coming into Yeshuvah, to Askara, from one hand you remind that my father, I lost my father, but from the other hand, your father and the mother is still alive. Learn how to appreciate it. Learn how to respect your parents. You don't have to make Yeshuvah and then speak so highly about the Niftar. If you're going to speak so highly before, he will never be dead. This is maybe the message. Our community, the Bukharian community, known to be the greatest people to do kavod to the Niftarim. The one that passed away, you can see people that died 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 70 years ago, and still they're doing Yeshuvah. They spend money, and everybody know how to speak half an hour. Each person, Bani and Rabbi are Jews, we love speaking. Each one of us give our own lectures. And I always said, if they spoke about him or with him before, the way that they speak after, you will never be dead. Why do we have to lose someone in order to appreciate it? Why do we need to be sick in order to give donations, in order to come to synagogues, to keep Shabbat, to keep kashrut, to come to the synagogue to pray? If you're going to pray before, if you're going to give donation before, you will never be sick. Why do we need, God forbid, to be divorced in order to appreciate it? My wife was the best, my husband is incredible. If you're going to have appreciation before, you will never have to get to these levels. The first message, ladies and gentlemen, this is as personal that you can get. I'm living here in America for almost 15 years. From these 15 years, 12 years, I was here and I didn't see my father. Why did I didn't see my father? Immigration reasons. Most of you guys, you have citizens, you have a green card. My lawyer told me, Rabbi Vaknin, do not leave. If you're going to leave, you might not going to be able to come back. I got stuck here for 12 years, not seeing my father. Remind me what Yaakov Avinu passed when he didn't see his own father for 21 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the next time I saw my father was when my father, Rahmat Kunam, was in the hospital, fighting for his life. First of all, with diabetes, they cut 90% of his leg. I was there, and that one on behalf of my wife. I left my wife and the children for 8 months to sleep next to my father in the hospital. The next time is when they revealed the cancer. And then it was history. 2 years later, my father, Ahmad Kunan, passed away. And until now, I'm asking myself that I had the ability to visit him much more. Why I didn't risk before? Why always we appreciated someone only when we lose? You have your wife, you have your children, you have your father and mother. Call them tonight. Come every Shabbat that you can spend. Be there with him. Have respect and kavod to your own parents. This is maybe the greatest mitzvah that we can do. Kabed et avicha v'et imecha. And ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you, respect equal life. You want the parents to live long? Call them. Bring the grandchildren. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, for 20 years, ladies and gentlemen, 20 years, his mother came from Russia, was living here. It was not one day that the Rebbe didn't visit his mother. 20 years, most likely the most busy human being, the most busy Jew in the whole world. Thousands of people, over 5,000 shluchim, messengers around the world. And he always finds the times to pay a visit for 20 minutes, cup of tea, with his own mother. This is what extends life to our parents. The first message that I want to give you is appreciate what you have. Know how to give compliment, know how to be connected, and especially to your parents. Second message, second introduction I will call it. However, Rabotai, you know, in the Torah, something is very strange. The first books, Sefer Bereshit, you can see a different relationship between a father and a child. What is so unique? Very simple. The first time that Avraham Avinu spoke with Yitzchak was in which age? 37 years old. The first time that the Torah indicates that Avraham Avinu spoke to his own son was 37 years old. Then the first time that Yitzchak spoke with Yaakov was when he gave him the blessing between 40 to 60 years old. The first time that Yaakov spoke with the children, it was with Yosef when he was 17, and later on in the end of their life. And my question to all of you, what, our parents had nothing to speak? I mean, we are a religion that believe in speaking. To be a Jew is to have the ability to speak. If you want to put a Jew in the jail, you don't have to put him in the jail. Just put plaster in his mouth and he's already in the worst jails. A Jew loves to speak. So what, our parents had nothing to say, nothing to educate their own children? And look what a great children they have. Yitzchak Avinu, Yaakov Avinu, the 12 tribes. Maybe the parents is teaching us. Action speak much louder from any word. You don't have to speak when you act right. If you want to educate your own children, don't speak a lot. Do a lot. How many times your husband tell you, I love you? And what is your response? Prove it to me. Show me in actions. It's not nice, I love you. Talk is cheap. It doesn't cost anything. I love you, you love me, we're a happy family. In the meantime, I didn't pay nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, actions speak. Avraham Avinu raised his own son by actions. Yitzchak Avinu raised his own son by actions. When he said don't smoke, he didn't smoke and told them my son is not good for you. He stopped smoking first. When he told them wake up to minyan in the morning, he was not sleeping and told them mikveh is important, wake up, don't lose Kriyat Shema when the father is sleeping. Actions speak much louder. The way that we educate people, I believe that being a rabbi, I know that, is not what the rabbi said. The best speech of every rabbi is not what you said, is the way that you act. People see the way that you act. And I will tell you what I saw from my father. My father taught me 3 things. And I believe that this message is good to all of you. The first one is honesty, permanent honesty. The second one is permanent kindness. The last one is permanent peace. And I will explain. Permanent honesty. You know, each one of us here will claim that he's an honest man. We are all honest people, 100%. But I will just give you a few examples. How many times we break honesty when it's comfortable for us? My father was as honest as a person can get. He never broke, he never found loophole and shortcut. He was as honest that you get. You know how difficult it is to be honest? Last week, it was 3 months ago that I returned. I took a leasing car. Now, I took leasing car. I overcame with the mileage 10,000 miles over. You know, in leasing, this is where they make the money. They call me, they said, Rabbi Vaknin, we love you. We approve this message. Continue to make mileage. Every mileage is 25 cents. God bless you. God bless the road. Every mitzvah that you're doing by driving, we make cash. So they called me, they said, Rabbi Vaknin, after negotiation, you owed us $3,500. Now, being a rabbi in this community, this blessing community, by the way, I became a rabbi in that year that my father passed away. And I know, Rabbi Zalman and Rabbi Valovik remember that we had a negotiation. And when my father, Ahmad Kunan, passed away, I knew that the blessing is arriving. Because when a person is passed away, no, we don't say dead, niftar, his power to influence the world is much greater. Moreover, about time, I came in, and I have students that they're dealing with diamonds. 90% of my students own 47. I have students that they're dentists, pharmacists. I also have students that they're selling cars, car dealers. And they came to me and said, Rabbi Vaknin, don't worry about the mileage. You don't ask questions. We're going to give you the answer. Just tell us how many mileage you want to have in a car. Tell us the number. We're going to make a miracle worker. I said, how exactly are you doing it? They said, Rabbi Vaknin, it's better for you, don't ask. We are a blessing of God. We are messengers of God. I said, who gave you the right to steal the company? I'm a rabbi. I would give you, but Rabbi Vaknin, I love it when people is doing something. They always claim, but everybody is doing it. Everybody doing it doesn't mean giving you a right to do something wrong. I saw a person went in to eat in a restaurant. I said, this restaurant is not kosher. The guy looked at me and said, Rabbi, what are you talking? You see this rabbi? He was not even a rabbi. He was Amish. You know this one with the long beard? He said, even the rabbi is here. You see, many times when we make a mistake, what do we say? You see this guy? Everybody is doing it. He said, Rabbi Vaknin, you know many people with big, long beard coming before they return the lease with a long kippah? He's trying to convince me to take a new car. And he said, Rabbi Vaknin, if you're going to take Chrysler, only 5,000? I said, 5,000 I'm doing in a month. He said, Rabbi Vaknin, I told you, don't worry. In the end of the lease, it still remains 5,000. Don't ask questions. We get answer. Radio Shack. You see that? How many times in life do you have a challenge? You know what I did? 2 days ago, I called Chrysler, and I was smiling when I paid the $3,500. Hashem Elech, Hashem Alach. It was a tough test, but my father taught me. There's no shortcut. Permanent honesty. Not temporary honesty. When it's comfortable for you, you're honest. You know, I had the accident. I'm not going to speak about the accident. Most of you already heard it. First of all, I'm so lucky to see so many couples. Every Wednesday we have this class. We are looking forward to see you, Be'ezrat Hashem. I had an accident. Not in my leg. Car accident. You know, I went into one of the doctors. He said, Rabbi Vaknin, the doctor tried to convince me to make surgery. He said, Rabbi Vaknin, I will take you to surgery. You just put a needle, tack, 20-minute surgery. You're going to make $50,000. Rabbi Vaknin, I'm a messenger of God. I heard that you bought a house. You need to pay mortgage. You need tuition. He's trying to convince me that this is a blessing. You don't sue the doctor. You sue the insurance. All these things. I said, what? I'm going. And he's trying to convince me that I need it. I came to the doctor. We are Israelis. We have the chutzpah. I told the doctor, I looked at them and I said, listen, if your son needs surgery, are you going to send him to this surgery? You know, American people, they don't like honesty. They get nervous. He looked at me and said, Rabbi Vaknin, my answer was definitely be no. So I said, what's the difference between your son to me? Why that I need this surgery and your son is not? I will put my leg in danger. The Gemara said, if you stole money by fake, you will not die until you're going to have that sickness. For $50,000, I need being a rabbi. This is the role model. I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't care how much money. Even if you're going to pay me $100,000, I'm not doing it. Permanent honesty. When you meet a person that is honest, be stick to him. Because God loves honest people. My father was an honest man. You know, I know that my father was an honest man. One of the stories that I grew up with, 60 years ago, my father used to own in Yafo a manufacturer of shoes. And he went in, he met a guy. He went in to eat falafel, I'm sorry. He went to eat falafel in a restaurant. A groom and a bride went in to eat also falafel. A minute, how do you know? Because they dressed like that. They went into this falafel and they forgot the envelope. And that envelope was enough money to buy a house in cash and to pay for the whole weddings. Now they forgot because this is the night of the weddings, obvious that they're going to forget. Ladies and gentlemen, my father saw the envelope when they left. 6 years ago, there was no camera, no selfie, no Gehenna. Everything was, you can take the money, nobody know. Life is amazing. My father came into the table, pick up the envelope. And what exactly happened? The owner of the stores came in and said, "Excuse me, sir, this is my envelope." My father said, "What? Which envelope is that?" He said, "This is my envelope." He said, "No, this is not your envelope. I saw the two people that just left. This envelope belonged to them." He said, No, I left it." So my father said, "You know what, maybe you're right. I'm sorry to tell you. I will call the police and let the police decide which envelope belonged to what." The guy said, "Excuse me, I didn't say my envelope. I said our envelope." Meaning he's doing a ready negotiation with my father. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about $1.5 million in cash. I'm coming from extremely poor family. I mean, it was a time that we had nothing to eat, literally nothing to eat. You know the stories that you grow up in some family, they eat chicken only on Fridays? It was in my house. My house was a place that sometimes we had chicken only on Fridays. My father used to make it like a treatment, grono todo. I still remember, I was in love until Rabbi Chen brought me that memory. When he cooked specially for me, grono todo, he reminded me what my father used to do the best. And Morav Rabotai, my father gave them everything. When they want to give him a gift, he said, "I don't want to get. It's no shortcut. Let God pay me what God needs. I don't want to get human being payment." $1.5 million. Nobody winning for making shortcut on honesty. The first message that I want all of you to convey, honesty in the long run, it's always worth it. The second message is permanent chesed. You see, חז"ל אומרים, לא טוב להיות האדם לבדו, the Torah said, אעשה לו עזר כנגדו. It's not good to be alone. I will make you a wife. The word not good being used. Why that the word not used? So the Gemara said, anyone that is not married, and I feel bad for the single people, but I believe that 90% here is married. Anyone that is not married yet, is not good. Now people look at me and say, "Rabbi Vaknin, how can you say such a bold statements? You come in against us. You know me for so many years. We are beautiful peoples. Why that Chazal said is not good? You're not good. The Torah said, "Lo tov v'yot ha'adam levato." You're not in a good stage. What's the difference between being married or not being married? I will tell you what. One explanation, the Chida HaKadosh writes. The Chida HaKadosh writes, to be good is to know what Hashem is thinking about you. And now that you know that what Hashem is thinking about you, the way that your spouse responds. If your wife tells you that you are the greatest human being alive, that she is lucky to have you, that you are a righteous man, tzaddik, you know what? She is not talking. The Almighty God is talking. When you are alone, you will never know what God is thinking about you. Come the Chida HaKadosh and write, I will give you a wife. I will give you a husband. And by their response, you know what they're thinking about you above. So guy, every time your wife screaming that you are the greatest, God is telling you, you are the greatest. I'm not going to speak about the negativity because I know that you are the best. And hopefully the wife always going to scream that you are the best and she's lucky to have you. And every time you're telling your wife she's the great, she is Eshet Chayil. When you say Eshet Chayil and you put your wife pictures, not your mama pictures, and you look, Eshet Chayil, Mimtza, why I didn't find. Put your wife and tell your wife that you are lucky to have this wife. It's not your husband is talking, it's the Almighty God is talking. Lo tov v'yot ha'adam. This is one explanation. The second explanation, Rabbi, listen to this one. Lo tov v'yot ha'adam levado meaning. As long that you're not married, you are temporary good. And temporary good is not good. Because at any moment you can change. Today I'm in a good mood, I'm going to be smiling, be nice guys, give you compliment. Tomorrow I don't have to. But when you are married, you are obligated to be good for the next 120 years. Yosef, obligation to be good for 120 is a permanent good. and permanent good is the only way. Ki miteva atov le'ativ. Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you a story that I didn't hear. I grew up with these stories. And you understand why I said that my father, Rahmat Kunam, was a permanent good. My father went in, like I told you, he had a manufacturer of shoes. He went in and he met a guy in the age of 65. He met him in Yafo. This guy lost his wife. He had no children and no parents. He was lonely in this world and he had no jobs. My father took him into our home to be a guest for 3.5 years. You know, when you have a guest, after 24 hours, your wife giving you a face, is either you or either him, you have to make a decision. Why bad things happen to good people? Bless you when you come in, double bless when you leave. Motzei Shabbat, suddenly your husband becomes Sephardi. If he's not, Eliyahu Hanavi, 72 times. Why? To remind the guests, Eliyahu Hanavi is here, and maybe you can live with him. I saw people coming, Shavuot Tov, Shavuot Tov, Shavuot Tov, Shavuot Tov. Why Shavuot Tov so many times? To remind the guys that you crossed the limit. Now is the time to leave. 24 hours. You know what, to have a guest in your home is to give up, The only place that you feel comfortable. You know, that you saw that every time you have a guest, guys, gentlemen, we love guests. You know why? Because the only time that your wife cannot scream is when you have a guest. My dear husband, suddenly she's taking a yoga classes. Ooh. After every Shabbat, they have Motzei Shabbat. Why? Don't worry. What goes around comes around. 3.5 years, and I will explain you the situation. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 8 brothers and sisters, and 2 bedrooms only. Apartment, not a house, 2 bedrooms. 1 bedroom for my father and mother. My mother, תיבדל לחיים טובים ארוכים ובריאים בעזרת השם נדע אמן. And 1 bedroom for the sisters, obvious, out of tzeniut. 8 brothers, 3 sisters and 5 brothers. So we took the sofa bed, and the morning it was a sofa bed. At night, I told you that I grew up in a economy-wise, Baruch Hashem, thank God. I never went to psychology. I didn't come and say, listen, why bad things? My name is Vaknin, and I need to speak. No, Baruch Hashem, everything is healthy. Thank God. The only psychology, the only blessing that we had in life is when my father insists that I'm going to go to Chabad. My father insists. My father met Chabad in Morocco. He met the shluchim of the Rebbe in Morocco, and he insists that I'm going to go to Chabad. He said, I want you. I said, why, Abba? I already got accepted in Kiser Rachamim on the way to Porat Yosef. He was the best 2 Sephardic yeshiva. I said, Abba, we are Moroccan. Why did I have to go to Chabad? He said, I want you to know what is to follow, what is to love your fellow Jew. And only in Chabad, in the core, you can get unconditional love to every Jew. Go to Chabad. I know that to study, you're going to study. You love to study. Talmid Chacham, you're going to go any place you're going to go. But to love your fellow Jew, to sacrifice your life, to go to Hong Kong, where I was been for 2 years, with no questions, if they have a synagogue, they don't have synagogue, kashrut, no kashrut. We're going because the Rabbi said so. To sacrifice your life, I want you to go to study Ahavat Israel. This was the best psychology that I got. But except that, ladies and gentlemen, 5 brothers in the sofa bed, and this stranger, my father don't like to call any Jew a stranger. This guest that is not our family, is not an uncle, we had to call him uncle, living with us for 3.5 years. And he got the best bed. Not only my father gave him the best bed, the only bed, by the way, the only bed, all of them is a sofa bed that become bed at night. The only bed, he got it. And we ask him why bad things happen to good people, why us, but we are forced, we are these children. My father was permanent good. Good that never changed. No matter how much you're going to spit, no matter how much you're going to do bad, good never change. If you are good in the essence, you're always good. Bad will not come with you. Will not going to come from you. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we said honest, permanent, kindness, permanent, and happiness, permanent. If I remember my father in our family, we like to say it. It's not for no reason. My father passed away 2 hours before Shabbat. You know how difficult it is to be a mourner? 2 hours before Shabbat. In Shabbat you cannot cry. You cannot sit down on the floors. You have to act like everything is normal. You know how difficult it is to be a mourner? And we're sitting down with the brothers. We're not allowed to cry. How can you not cry when you just lost your father? And then I came to conclusion that my father is a happy man, and all his life he was happy. Because he was happy, he didn't want us to be so much sad. 2 days later is not the same. He passed away on purpose on Friday. Not only that this is a mitzvah to pass Erev Shabbat after Chatzot. We indicated in the tzavah that he passed after בצבא, that he passed ביום שישי אחרי חצות. יש עניין, ערב שבת. It's a very holy people. But not only because of that. Because my father didn't want us. He was as happy that you can get. Even though that money-wise, we never had anything to be proud. We never had any cars, anything new. Clothing was always running with the families. You know, everything that we had. My father, Hamad Konam, came in order to pay the tuition. And that one I discovered only after he passed away. The Rosh Yeshiva of my yeshiva came to me and said, Rabbi Vaknin, you know how your father paid the tuition? Silent-wise, quiet-wise, he used to come to make haircut to all the Bachurei Yeshiva. Behind my back, I never knew it. Every month he used to come to go into a room. He had no money. He said, gentlemen, I'm not going to get free. I have to pay. I know how to make haircut. It's so easy to make haircut for Bachurei Yeshiva. You take a machine and you make a haircut. You don't have to be sapar. You know, in our tradition, Baruch Hashem, in our community, we have many saparim. To make haircut for Bachurei Yeshiva is very simple. Number 4 and that's it. To number 3 and that's it. My father made a haircut for so many boys in order to pay the tuition. And even though that money, it was a dream, but happiness was always in the house. How many times when I ask you, why are you not happy? Why are you not happy? The answer is, Rabbi, if I'm going to get this house, I will be happy. If I'm going to get this wife, if I'm going to have a child, if I'm going to have this car, that you realize that even after you get this car, you're still not happy? Because the more that you have, the more that you want. יש לו מנה רוצה 200. יש לו 200 רוצה 400. Why are you so busy? What you need to get in order to be happy? Make at least what you have and be happy for now. Now I'm happy. When you wake up in the morning and you say Modeh Ani, you have to remember that you have everything that a person dreams. You are healthy, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a roof above you. Thank God you can see, thank God you can hear, thank God you can speak. Why always be so miserable? Some people is going in with a sour face like Tisha B'Av. They always have this attitude. תחת אשר לא עבדת את השם אלוקיך בשמחה ובטוב לבב. God challenged the human being with all the courses in the Torah. Not because a person didn't keep Torah mitzvot. The person came to synagogue, he did everything right. But one thing was missing. Because you didn't worship God from happiness. Why? Because יש לך את הכל. מרוב כל. You know what's mean מרוב כל? Because you have fancy houses, you have fancy cars, fancy watch, iPhone number X, X1, X2, plus anything that you want, you have. And instead of being happy, you just lost the happiness. You see, it was this rich man that was living. He was alive. He had 18 bedrooms in his house. Huge house. He had 7 cars. House in every place in the world. The guy was wealthy. Thank God, God bless him. But always miserable. Always miserable. Now, giving salt an open room, his neighbor had 1-bedroom apartment, 1 bedrooms, a poor man, all day long is singing. You hear from the windows next to the rich man, Asher Melech, Akadosh Ba. This guy cannot stand it. I don't understand. Why this poor man, why is he singing all day long? I have 18 bedrooms. Every bedroom of my house is bigger from his house. What exactly? He doesn't have even a car. He's driving subway. What make him happy? He was so jealous. He decides to kill the happiness. Listen to what he did. A brilliant actions. The rich man did something unreal. How do you take happiness from a human being. You know what he did? He came to the poor man. He was thinking, what exactly I can do to kill his happiness? He came to the rich man, to the poor man, and he said, my dear friends, I see that economy-wise, situation-wise, your economy is very bad. You know what I'm going to do? I will give you $100,000 in check. How do you call it? Certified checks, meaning that this is cash. $100,000. Take it like a loan for 5 years. Anytime you need it, use it. If you need it, use it. The guy was in the beginning so happy. He said, you know, I was never planning to ask. I don't like to ask. But you know what? I need this money. Let me think what I can do. He said, you don't have to think. Keep the check with you. You know what exactly happened in this moment? He stopped singing. Why? Now he's worried if somebody's going to steal the checks. What exactly I'm going to use the money? How exactly I'm going to pay it back? Maybe I will never. Now he's worried for 1 month. He's always worried. From this moment that he had 100,000, the money, the happiness got killed. After 1 month, he came to the rich man and said, take the 100,000. I don't need your money. Give me back my happiness. Do you hear that? Permanent happiness. Happiness is a state of mind. You can have nothing and be happy, or you can have everything and be miserable. I don't say that money ruins happiness, but definitely challenge one. 100%. The more that you get, the more that you want. This is the rules. That you realize, do you remember the first time you said, if we're just going to buy a house, I will be happy? You bought the house. Now the house is too small. Rabbi, if I'm just going to have a private house, I will be happy. You got the private house. The neighbor built a mansion next to you. Your wife cannot sleep at night. She wakes you 2 o'clock in the morning. You see, I need another bedroom. Look in the kitchen over there. What is the dream of every wife? I got a nice kitchen. I need a kitchen here. I need a kitchen there. Suddenly, what exactly happened before? Before you just blessed and you said, God, if you're just going to give it to me. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret of happiness is to remember to enjoy what you have. Happy people is not people that missing something. Happy people is people that know how to appreciate it. Permanent happiness. My father always had something funny to say. Always with a smile. Always with the light. How nice it is to see happy people. How much you're going to be willing to pay to be happy. How many people you know that they're happy in this world? Gentlemen, remember this message. The message of my father to all of us. Honesty have no price. Honesty doesn't mean honest today and tomorrow not. If you are honest in business, you are honest in jobs. You don't have to make money in insurance. God will give you this money without claim against insurance. You don't have to play that you're sick. You don't have to claim for medicine that you don't need. Don't find the crooked ways. They have a short ways, the honest ways, the Torah ways, the Almighty God ways. And the blessing that you got in the kosher ways remain forever. Permanent honesty. The second one is permanent goodness. To be good has no price. If he is wrong, it doesn't mean that you can be wrong. Good people never change. If you're good, you're always going to remain good. No matter who is right or wrong. You have to be good. If somebody cut you in the road, if somebody curse you, bless you, and bless your parents and your grandparents, some people in the road, it doesn't mean that you have a right to bless as well. Just opposite. One time, there was an Italian guy that cut me in the road, and I opened the windows, and this Italian guy realized that, you know what? Now is opportunity. He was thinking I'm going to curse him. You know what I did? I said, excuse me, sir. He said, yes, what do you want to say? I said, I just want to tell you, may God bless you to have a wonderful day. He looked at me and said, you're a Jew, right? I said, yes. You know what his response? I always knew that you're special. I always knew that you're special. Good people never change. Honesty never change. And happiness never change. You want to be happy, don't wait for tomorrow. Today, this moment. Ayom la'asotam. One day at a time. Today I'm alive. Today, thank God I have the money to pay my mortgage and everything. What's going to be tomorrow? It's not in our hand anyways. But today I can make a difference. Today I have everything that I need. Hashem elech, Hashem alach. Hashem elech lo naved. Ladies and gentlemen, remember this message. Each one of you here in this room have so many things to bless God. Make a list for tomorrow morning. 5 items that you have to say thank you to your wife, thank you to your husband, thank you to the Almighty God. 5 items, we don't need 5. We have 20 blessings every morning, Birkot HaShachar, that we remind God what we have. That we can stand, that we can see, that we can walk, that we have a house, that we have children, healthy children. Ladies and gentlemen, באמת we are lucky. באמת we are blessed. Stop complaining. I will end with these ideas. Listen to this. You know, וינומו העם על משה וירא בעיני השם. In the desert, the Jewish nation was complaining. The Jewish nation was complaining against Moshe Rabbeinu. Now you might going to ask, Rabbi, what a chutzpah they had to complain when you have food from heaven, water from heaven, clothing that you don't have to change, anything you desire you had. Why do you have to complain? They had life of dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, if 200 years ago I came into your grandparents and I told them that it will be one day that every person is going to own a house. It will be one day that every person will have 2 cars. Cars that drive in so fast that can get from one place to another place in a few hours. It will be one day that we're going to have an airplane taking you to Israel in 8 to 9 hours. It will be one day that you don't have to speak. You can send one message to 50,000 people in Facebook, WhatsApp and all this. It will be one day that you're coming in and you have this computer that you can speak. How do you call it? This computer? No. Alexa, America. You see, some people have Alexa in the house. You coming in, Alexa open the light, Alexa close the light, Alexa here. I mean, she's always listening. She never argue. She never come, no, we have women rights. I don't listen to the husband. She's always doing what he asks. It's amazing. Because of that, we're willing to pay so much money. Imagine yourself this one. It will be what your parents, what your grandparents is going to say. This is Yemot HaMashiach. And if you told your grandparents that with all this wealth, people will still complain. You know what they're going to say? They are the highest chutzpanim that this world ever exists. Ladies and gentlemen, we are exactly like the generation of the desert. We have everything that we ever dreamed. And we have the chutzpah to complain. I mean, for what? I want all of you to live here with this message. God, I'm happy in what I have. And anything else is a bonus of bonus of bonus. In this moment, I'm happy. The Almighty God will bless all of you, Bezrat Hashem, to have a long life, and a healthy life, and a happy life. I will invite, yes, רבי חננאל בן הקשה אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה מדברות שנאמר, אדוני חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה ויאדיר. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. ועל מה דיברה קירותי והמליך מחותי, ויצמח כוקנה ויקרב משכם. וחייכון ובמכון ובחיית דחו בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמו אמן. יש שמי רבה מברך לעולם לעולם היה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי דקודשה וירחו. לעילה מכל ברכתה, שירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה. דאמירן בעלמה ואמו אמן. על ישראל ועל רבנן ועל תלמידון וכל תלמידי תלמידון. דאשכן בוראת הקדיש תעדי והתרעדין ודאי בכל אתר ואתר. יעלנה ולאון ולכון וחנה וחסדה ורחמים. מן קדם הרי שמיה והרב עמו אמן. ויש על אמר רבה מן שמיה חיים ושבע ושנה וחמה ושזפה ופור וגאולה ושתחה ורפרה. ורבח והצללן וכל עמו ישראל ועמו אמן. ועושה שלום ומואב וברחמיו. יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועמו אמן. טוב שם ושם טוב ויממה ואת מבלדו. המרחם בכל בריאותיו הוא יחוס וכמון ורחם על נפש ונשמה של האיש הכשר שנפטר בשם דונם מולו. כמו רבי ארני כפרת משכבו מיכאל בן אליהו וגם את אליהו חיים בן רבקה הם וכל השומרים בהם בכך שתלכות וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. Ladies and gentlemen, you can be seated. Now we start the lecture of Rabbi Friedman. Start right now. Please be seated. Yes, Rabbi Friedman. Gentlemen, be seated. Yes, please. Yes. אשת חיים ימצא לו ממך מקובלותיו ואחוז מלכם הנפש ונשמה של האישה הכשרה שנפטרה בשביל דלא מרת, פניר בת חפצי, מרים בת דבורה, רוח השם תכם לגן עדן, תהיה נשמתם צורה בצור החיים. אבא דברי תורה יש לרפואה של מספלה בת פניר בעזרת השם, לרפואה של מלכות ימים ושנים טובות, וגם כן יהודה תלמודי בן מיכל, אריה חזקיה בן יפה, אשר חי בן אלה, וכל חולי עמו ישראל, אין לה רפל עליהם, אין לה רפל עליהם, אין לה רפל עליהם, וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. זה נשמת מיכאל, מעורבי מיכאל בן אליהו, מיכאל בן אליהו. לא, אני זוכר. לא. Okay. Zalman, can you check if everything's okay? For sure it's coming, right? עשית תמונות שם עבדו, למה לא עשית תמונות מהצד? כן, אבל מהצד, משם זה היה באותו רגע, מהמדרגות, חבל, אתה לא בפוקוס כפה עליך, אני אמרתי, אוקיי?
אבל שנתתי דיברת יותר מדי, אולי כנראה
20 דקות, מה אתה רוצה?
איזה 10 דקות?
אוקיי?
אבל זהו, הוא תשב בשירותים.
לא, אבל למה, לא. Okay, in the meantime when we are waiting, perfect. איפה זה? שתומץ? Okay. Rabbi, just let's, in that 1 minute, if I can ask all of you, just to repeat few words of תהילים. מה אהבתי תורתך כל היום משיחתי, יהי ליבי תמים בחוקיך, למען לא אבוש, כחסדך חייני ואשמרה עדות פיך. אשרי תמימי דרך ההולכים בתורת אדוני, לעולם אדוני דברך ניצב בשמיים. ברוך אתה אדוני למדני חוקיך, נר לרגלי דבריך ואור לנתיבתי. את חוקיך אשמור, אל תעזבני עד מאוד, לעולם לא אשכח פקודיך, כי בם חייתני. ידעתי אדוני כי צדק משפטיך ואמונה עינתני. העבר עיניי מראות שווא, בדרכך חייני, והשמרת תורתך תמיד לעולם ועד. This is the Tehillim for the memories of my father according to his names. Rabbi Zalman? Mostati? Rabbi Zalman, Mostati. The האוכל לא היה טוב? The food was not good? Yeah, בטח. לא, 8:50. 50 בדיוק. אני ראיתי, עד 8:20, זה 30 דקות בדיוק. זה מה שחשבתי לדבר. Ladies and gentlemen, let's stand up out of respect to Rabbi Menis Friedman. Please, let's stand up. Thank you. I want to invite world-renowned Chassid, world-renowned speaker, Rabbi Menis Friedman. The lecture that you hear tonight will change your life, Be'ezrat Hashem. That the Almighty God will bless all of you, and especially the Rabbi, for the privilege that we have to have him once again. Rabbi Menis Friedman, מכובד. רבי, אתה רוצה להחזיק את ה... ככה שזה לא ייפול כל רגע? מחילה, זמן. תודה רבה.
So here's the problem. The problem is, we're talking about love and marriage. But love and marriage don't go together. You have to make up a choice. You want love or you want marriage. The reason they don't go together is because love is about me, marriage is about you. Love is about me. Even when I say I love you, that's about me. I'm telling you something about me. You want to know who I am? I love sushi. I love chandeliers, and I love you. So what do you now know? Now you know me. It's all about me. And that's why if a husband says to his wife, I love you, don't say, I love you. Don't start an argument. When he says, I love you, he's saying something about himself. Then you say, and I love you. What, you just changed the subject. He was talking about himself, and you're talking about yourself. That's why it doesn't work. He says 3 words, and you already changed the subject. That's all he gets, 3 words. So he says, I love you. And you say, okay, enough about you. Now I love you. This is not good communication. Certainly, when I want you to love me, that's selfish. But even when I love you, it's still selfish. I mean, even look at the sentence. I love you. 3 little words. The first word is I. The last word is you. So I'm first, you're last. And love, see, I'm me. I have to be me. Love, gotta have love. You. If I don't love you, I'll love somebody else. But so you're replaceable. I'm not replaceable. Love is not replaceable. Only you. So when a husband says to his wife, I love you, it's a threat. I love you, so watch it. You better behave yourself. Because I come first, you come last. Love is selfish. Marriage is the exact opposite. Marriage means this is all about you. Because without you, I'm nothing. You don't get married to become perfect. You don't get married to improve yourself. You get married to devote yourself to someone else. That's marriage. If you just want somebody to love, you don't have to get married. So a man and a woman who already love each other, why would they get married? For what? For the love that they already have? What's the marriage going to add? So love and marriage don't go together like a horse and carriage. That was an old song, but it's not true. Here's another problem. Doctors are saying that the biggest threat to health, not psychiatrists, regular doctors, hospitals, they're saying now that the biggest threat to our health is loneliness. When people feel alone, they become vulnerable and they easily get sick. Serious sicknesses because of loneliness. And that's why it's such a terrible thing that people put their parents into old age homes and forget about them. It's terrible. Loneliness is the worst thing. I remember not so long ago, everybody was saying, the worst thing you can do to somebody is make them feel guilty. Remember that? What, are you giving me a guilt complex? Jewish mothers were the worst because they made you feel guilty. And making somebody feel guilty was the worst thing you could do. Now they changed it. Guilt is not so bad. Alone, terrible. And it's true. Physically, when a person feels all alone in the world, their immune system crashes and they become vulnerable to every disease. The problem becomes even more complicated because the doctors go looking for the cause of the disease and they blame it on bacteria and on germs and on viruses and on super germs. And really, it's because they're lonely. So you treat all the symptoms and they don't get better. So being alone is physically dangerous. But the rabbi quoted, the Gemara says, the Torah says, Loi toiv hayos ha'adam levadoi. It's not good when a person is alone. It's true. But the question is why? Why is it not good for a person to be alone? Wouldn't it be perfect if a person can be alone, independent, and not need anybody else? Wouldn't that be the most perfect, the healthiest, strongest person? If you need somebody else because by yourself you're lonely, then you're dependent on somebody else. So if the person who loves you stops loving you, you're in trouble. So it would be much better if people were good alone. So this is a question that very few people ask. God created the world in 6 days. On Sunday, he said, Yehi Oiv. Monday, there was Rekiah. Tuesday, no place did God say, it's not good enough, I think I'm going to make trees. He made trees. Then he made little animals. He didn't say, it's not good, little, you have to have big animals also, so I'm going to make big animals. Only when it comes to Adam and Chava, God made a statement. Oh, it's not good to be alone, so I'm going to create a wife. Just do it. You don't have to make statements. Why does he have to say it's not good? So the Medrash actually says, the world was created with 10 sentences. One of the 10 sentences is Lo tov hayes ha'adam levado, which means, by nature, logically, it would be much better if a person could be independent, perfect by himself. But God said no. He made it bad to be alone. One of the reasons is because Adam is created b'tselem Elokim. God created Adam because God doesn't want to be alone. And since he is not good being alone, he makes the human being like himself, that the human being also can't stand being alone. So, not being content to be alone, that's being like God. Because human beings would much rather be alone and perfect. Why should I need you to be healthy? So this is what marriage is. Marriage means, since you are created in God's image, and he doesn't want to be alone, you also should not be alone. You should have someone beside you. So what is marriage? Marriage is not to make you perfect, to have someone beside you. So let's understand this. God is already perfect. In all ways, God is perfect. He is infinite, bli gvul, ein sof, kol yachol. He's perfect. He can't get any better. And he's not happy. What does that mean? He creates a world. For what? What could he possibly gain when he's already God? He's already perfect. The only answer is that he doesn't gain anything. But being himself is not enough. That's real humility. As perfect as he is, there's just him. Just me, not right. What's missing? Nothing's missing. But just me is not right in God's eyes. So, what does he gain? He doesn't gain something. He gains someone. He has someone besides him. So the purpose of creation is that we should exist, not that he should be better. Think about this. In order for us to exist, look what he had to do. He has to limit himself. Tzimtzum. He has to remove his light to make room for us. He has to hide his face so that we could have free choice. He has to send the neshama, a little piece of himself, from the highest level down to the lowest level. He has to create sin. He has to make the moon smaller. All of these things he does not like, goes against the perfection. And he does all of this just so that we also exist, not just him. So when you read in the Torah, particularly in Kabbalah and Chassidut, in the beginning there was just him. He was everything and there was nothing else. You think that's a compliment? The Torah is trying to tell us how great he is. No. The Torah is telling us what the problem was. The problem was there was only him. What's wrong with that? Nobody knows. But to God, just me is not enough. There has to be someone else. So in Kabbalah it says that when God said, Lo toiv hayos ha'adam levada, he was talking about himself. Adam ha'elyon. So, love and marriage. You don't need love. You don't need love from your husband. You don't need love from your wife. Love is not a need. Let's make this very clear. In America, love is God. It's avodah zarah. Literally avodah zarah. In history, when people will look back at 20th century, 21st century America, they will all say, the idol, the God of America was love. And every idol is false. You don't need love. Of course, every psychologist and every book you read, and even most rabbis will tell you, love is the most important thing. It's not true. Love is not a need. Love is a pleasure. If you need love, you're miserable. If you need love, you're an unhappy person. Why would you need love? What's wrong with you? Nobody loves me. So? So what? There's some law that says you have to be loved? Some guy once came running to the rabbi in the shtetl. He says, Rebbe, people don't love me. They say they don't love me. So the rabbi said, Shah, don't have to tell everybody. And why should they love you? If nobody loves you, there's probably a good reason. The need for love is a handicap. We shouldn't have that need. Of course, we love love. That's not a need. We love chocolate. It's not a need. If you need chocolate, you're in trouble. You also need therapy. So, you don't need love from your husband, and you don't need love from your wife, and you certainly don't need love from your children. My children don't love me. That's it? That's your problem? I was once speaking in Beis Chana class. One father came to sit in. These were a group of teenage girls. We were talking about kabed et avicha v'esimecha. And I said the word is kabed. It doesn't say to love your father. It says to honor. It doesn't even say to respect. Why? Not every father is lovable. So you can't make a commandment, you must love your father. What if he's not lovable? And you can't make a commandment, respect your father. He didn't do anything special. There's nothing to respect. But honor is always possible. Honor means don't sit in his chair. Doesn't matter whether you love him or you respect him. It's his chair. You don't sit in his chair. So this father got really angry. He started screaming, I'm not accepting that. I don't want honor. I want her to respect me. You just made it very hard on her to respect you. You just ruined your chances. And I don't think she's going to love you after this either. So it just proved the point. We don't need love. You can't demand love. You can't expect love. Then what is marriage? Listen to the story. Back in the terrible times in Russia, the Rebbe then declared war on communism. He didn't want to run away. He wanted to destroy communism. Why? Because communism is evil, it's unholy, and our job is to clean up the world from unholiness. So to run away is not good enough. So he declared war against communism. In the long run, he was victorious. Communism is gone, Judaism is alive and well all over Russia. But during that war, he drafted his Chassidim to fight the battles, and many, many Chassidim died. In the gulags, in the labor camps, firing squads, Siberia. Almost every Chabad family lost a husband or a son, a father. There was one young couple. The communists were looking for him. He did something terrible. I think he stole the Sefer Torah out of a shul that they condemned. So they went to a non-Jewish village or town to hide there. They wouldn't find him. But they did find him, and the guy was sent off to Siberia. Now the mother was alone with her 8-year-old son. There was no money, there was nothing to eat. So she had to travel to the big city where she had some family to get money, food for her son. But the boy could not travel, because if you know, in those days, when a child was born to a Chabad family, they bribed the hospital not to register the birth. Because if there's a record of the child being born, then when the child is 6, they're going to come and take him to the communist school. So to avoid sending your kids to communist school, you bribed the nurse not to register the birth. So officially, this boy did not exist. He certainly couldn't travel, because in Russia you can't move without papers. So she had no choice. She had to leave him with a non-Jewish couple, old couple, who was a neighbor, 8-year-old boy. She told the boy what he can eat in the house by the non-Jews and what he shouldn't eat. And she told him that she'll be back in 4 days. She didn't come back in 4 days. A week went by, she did not come back. 2 weeks go by, she doesn't come back. Her papers were not perfect. They stopped her at every station. It was bad times. The husband of this couple would come home drunk, And he enjoyed forcing the boy to eat non-kosher meat. Forcing him physically, pushing it into his mouth. What kind of meat it was? It was not cow. It was dead animals. Nobody had money. The boy would fight and bite and scream and spit it out and cry every night. The older woman, the wife, couldn't take all the screaming, and so when the mother doesn't come home after 2 weeks, she took the boy and put him into an orphanage. In the orphanage, they didn't force him to eat what he didn't want, but they made fun of him. They questioned him, what's wrong with you? This is modern times. We don't do that anymore. There was another boy in the city. He would go to school, to the communist school, but on Shabbos, he would come with a Band-Aid on his hand, so he can't write, or his whole arm was in a sling. Every Shabbos, something was wrong with his hand. The teacher, of course, realized what he's doing, so she lectured him. Now the children there were trained. Never mention anyone's name. Never mention a name. So the teacher sat down with him and said, you know, there's this old-fashioned idea about God and religion and Shabbos, but we outgrew that. We're much healthier. So who told you not to write on Shabbos? Now, any name that he would give would be dead. So he said, my grandmother, who had passed away already. So the teacher said, you see? It's from that generation. It's a grandmother. It's a Babemeister. It's not for our generation. So take off the Band-Aid and do your work. So this kid, brilliant little boy, started to cry. And the teacher said, why are you crying? He said, because I'm a member in the Communist Youth Party. And part of becoming a member of the Communist Youth Party is that you swear to always keep your word. I promised my grandmother I wouldn't write on Shabbos. Now you're telling me to not keep my word, and then I won't be a good communist. The teacher didn't know what to say, and she left him alone. So here is this 8-year-old boy in an orphanage. And they're questioning him, and they make fun of him. One day, the orphanage takes all the boys on a hike. It was a hot day, and they became thirsty. So they went into a farm, and they asked the farmer if he has a cold drink for the boys. The farmer goes down to his cellar, and he brings out a bottle of milk, gives each boy a glass, and fills it with milk. This little boy is about to drink the milk when he hears the farmer saying, it's so good that you stopped here today. It's very, very good for the young boys because there's nothing healthier than horse's milk. The little boy didn't know what to do. Didn't know what to do. He's thirsty. He wants to drink, but it's not kosher. If he doesn't drink it, it's going to start a whole new conversation with questions, doesn't need the hassle. So he is going to drink it, but it's not kosher. An 8-year-old child struggling with a moral question. In the end, he decided not to drink it. And to avoid questioning, he made believe that the glass slipped out of his hand and it spilled. Now the mother came back. She goes to the neighbor and says, "Where's my boy?" And the neighbor says, "No, we put him in an orphanage." She got really scared because children disappeared regularly in those days. So she runs to the orphanage and she comes in and says, "I'm here to pick up my boy." And they said, "He's not here now." So she really panicked. They're playing games. She'll never see her boy again. So there's nobody to talk to. You can't go to the police. So she's standing in front of the orphanage and she doesn't know what to do. The children are coming back from the hike. The little boy sees his mother. He starts running towards her and he shouts, "Mama, I'm still yours. I didn't drink it." Which means that what made him refuse this tempting drink was not because he was a tzaddik, he was ultra-orthodox, he was spiritual. He was his mother's child. And he wanted to be able to say to his mother, "I am yours." She wouldn't drink it, he doesn't drink it. That way, I'm still yours. This is an incredible wisdom. What is more valuable than love? He could have said, "Mama, I love you." That wouldn't have been so powerful. He said, "I'm yours." That is much more powerful than love. Marriage doesn't mean we love each other. Marriage means I'm yours. All of me, not just my feelings. There's another word that is more powerful than love, and that's called home. When you think about the word home, it is so amazing. If you remember the story, when the Israeli soldiers came into Entebbe, into the airport, the hostages had been there for a long time, 100 Jews. They were miserable. And what did these young soldiers, what were the words they chose to say to the hostages when they broke into the room? "We love you." They said, "Let's go home." Perfect. Nelech habayta. You couldn't pick better words than that. Because there are no better words than that. So these are the two words that describe marriage. I'm yours, we are home. When you walk into your home, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. What you do at home is exactly what you're supposed to do. And the person you share that home with, that's exactly the person you're supposed to be with. That is so much more powerful than love. But what does it take? What does it take to be mine? What does it take to be home? Why sometimes people come into their own home and it doesn't feel right? God forbid. Because that's the worst thing. You come into your own home and you don't feel like you belong there? That's terrible. Yeah. What does it take? A very simple thing. Me. Me is too rigid. The me is too hard. It doesn't flex, it doesn't bend, it doesn't leave room for somebody else. So God gives us this living example. He is God and He is perfect and He is everything, and He, not enough. I am me. I love, I want, I need, that I has to become softer. It's unhealthy when it doesn't have any flexibility. If the I doesn't leave room for the you, then the I is unholy. The reason Paro didn't let the Jews leave Egypt is because his I could not flex. I have to let you? I do what I want. It took 10 plagues to soften up his I. So this is what all of Torah and mitzvahs are all about. Before you put food in your mouth, you make a bracha. You know what that does? It makes the I a little softer. I want to eat. It's my food. Yeah, but before you can eat your food, you have to make a bracha. Soften up. Lighten up. So the third ingredient in making a marriage, the first is you got to be mine. The second thing is, this is our home. We belong. The third thing is, where is your sense of humor? Why are you so serious about yourself? If you can't make fun of yourself, if you can't laugh at yourself, you're not healthy. The healthiest person is a person who can laugh at himself. And when you think, I'm a good husband, that's enough reason to laugh. Because nobody is a good husband. It's a ridiculous thought. You're a good husband? You know what it takes to be a good husband. Like the rabbi was saying, you'll be a good husband after you die. Then everybody will say, oh, he was a good husband. But as long as you're alive, you know what it takes to be a good husband. Come on. And it's not a failure on your part. It's just human condition. To be a good husband, you have to be an angel. And you're not. To be a good wife, it's almost impossible. Be a good mother? Are you kidding? Be a good father? We shouldn't even think in those terms. No mother is good enough. No father is good enough. No daughter is good enough. No son is good enough. No wife, no husband is good enough. And no Jew is good enough. Can you imagine saying, yeah, I'm a good Jew? Really? Yes, I put on tefillin every day. 1 pair or 2 pair? There's never good enough. In these areas, being a Jew, being a spouse, being a child, being a father or a mother, you cannot be good. You just have to be devoted. So what's a bad mother? A bad mother is a mother who doesn't want to be a mother. That's bad. What's a bad Jew? Someone who wishes he wasn't Jewish. That's really bad. What is a bad son or daughter? If you wish you weren't, that's not good. But if you're willing, if you're committed, yes, I am your husband. That's it. That's as good as you can get. And then you'll make mistakes, you'll do some good things, some bad things. You say, yes, I want to be a Jew. Am I going to be a perfect Jew? Somebody, a non-Jew, I was talking to him. And I said, the 10 Commandments, 10 Commandments. I said, no, we have 613 commandments. He says, really? Where do you have time? How do you have time to do 613 commandments? I said, that's not my only problem. I can't even remember the 613. So I'm going to say I'm a good Jew. But I want to be a Jew. That's perfect. Am I a good father? I love being a father. That's it. Good, bad, best, worst. Don't even go there. And that's what a husband and wife are. If you can't laugh at how ridiculous it is for two human beings who are not perfect to try to be married to each other, that's funny. It's funny. That God even allows us to get married. That's amazing. So if you get a little too serious, you say, hey, I'm a good husband, you're not appreciating me. Don't get so serious. Laugh at your failings, because it's funny. It's funny how we try to be perfect, knowing that we can't. So these are the three things that will make your marriage wonderful. You belong, you are home, and it's funny. And when you have these three things, you're going to love it. Of course you're going to love it. How could you not? What don't you love? You don't love having someone? You don't love being home? And you don't love laughing at yourself? So that's where the love comes in. It's not necessary. It's your reward. If you do it all right, you are rewarded that you love what you're doing. You love the relationship, you love being a husband, you love being a wife, because what's better? Nothing. Nothing better. So that's why, if you remember, Tevye, remember Tevye? From the Gemara? Tevye says to Golda, do you love me? What does Golda say? And she was very smart. She says, for 25 years, I've cooked your meals, washed your clothes. What does that have to do with love? What she was saying is, do I love you? I don't love you. I do love you. What are you wasting your time on foolish things? For 25 years, I am yours. There's nothing more powerful than that. And that's why Mashiach should come to us, even though he didn't come to our grandparents who were much better than us. So why would he come to us? Because in spite of everything that has happened, and in spite of all of our mistakes and failings, we never stopped being his. The little boy says, Mama, I'm still yours. I didn't drink it. And we can say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we did drink it, but we're still yours. We never stopped being yours. And for that alone, Mashiach should come and put an end to all the pain and all the suffering and make the world what God wants the world to be. A place where He and Bnei Yisrael, Am Yisrael, are married happily in their home where they belong, and the rest of the world can come and dance at our wedding. Good night.